Hi guys, I hope you all are good today. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to come in. Today is going to be a little short of a day because it has been a very long day. Um, Hi Tana, good to see you here. Hi Charlene. I'm sorry that there was a confusion on Brother's Facebook page versus mine. I am announcing here right now we will not have one next week. It will be 2 weeks from today before I do another Facebook Live because I'm going to my dad's next week. So, hey, Cindy. Hey, Priscilla. Hey, Robin. Good to see you all. The other Cindy as well. There's two Cindys in there. So there's three of us here today. Yay. It was a popular name at one time. Hey, Pat, how are you? Hi, Sharon. I don't know about y'all, but the weather here has been nuts. So I am a Southern girl. There's a reason I live in the South, and it is to avoid this weather. What happened? That this was not in my plans to have an ice storm. So hi Lisa, good to see you here. Hi Linda, hi Judy. Yeah, you too. I mean, I'm staying inside, but I'm still cold except for when walking the dog. I have busted it twice now since Sunday. So we had freezing. What did we have? It was freezing sleet Saturday, not freezing sleet, freezing fog Saturday and Sunday. So that was a slick walk. And then this morning, once again, I was trying to avoid the same place that I fell the other day and slipped right through it again. So I walked around it, but got face planted again. So it's kind of one of those days. The dog has not liked it. She does not like frozen grass. It's a little too spiky, and we have tried boots. I put a picture up of her booties today, and nobody liked it. She didn't like those. She did manage to make it to the neighbor's yard before one of them fell off. And by the time the second one fell off, I said, I'm not putting them on anymore, and I'm not going to try to gather them. So I just put them in my pockets and said, we're done. Yeah, I think we're going to get some more as well. If I ever make it out of this house this week, it will be amazing. I had booties on Princess this morning, Tana. Look at my post today. I even gave you a video of her trying to walk in them. It was pretty funny. So she had entertainment. So, if I'm freezing up, I apologize. I should not be on Wi-Fi. But internet today has been crazy. So I am wired in, so I don't know. Like I said, internet today has been crazy. We have not had good luck with it. So, but my audio keeps going. Well, we'll see how this works. Like I said, it's going to be a short one. We're going to talk a little bit about photo stitch and kind of give you some tips and tricks on how to make things work. But we'll see how things go. I do have to get the walk in before it starts getting dark because I do not want to navigate ice and darkness at the same time. So without further ado, I am going to start sharing my screen and we're going to talk about photo stitch. The first thing that I want to tell you though, when you're doing photo stitch is you want to identify what's important about that photo. If it's a person on the beach and the behind them and you're wanting the detail of that person's face, you're not going to get it if you try to get it all. So you go in and you capture the part of that photograph that's important to you, the person's expression, what they're doing, not the beach itself and the ocean behind them. So it really just depends on what you're doing. You have to realize it is not going to look like a printed photo. If you want a printed photo, then go print it on fabric. It weaves the colors in together. It's more of an artistic look. It looks better the further away from it you get. You can get some amazing ones. Some of my favorites that I've done are actually in black and white, the monochromatic ones. It does grayscale, I guess it's called. The word would not come. So the grayscales are my favorite. I think they're very elegant. Grayscales and sepias do a very nice job. And they're really good ones to start with because you're not trying to match people's color. And when you take a photograph, many times the photograph turns people's skin a cool tone. And so you don't get the linen, the tans that you want. It gives you more gray. So that would be one of the things that I would tell you is start with your grayscale ones because they're easy, they're elegant. and you'll get better results initially. Once you get further along in your journey, you may you go for color. But I mean, I never. Some people go by exactly what the software says. I don't. If it tells me that I need to use purple and there's not a purple to be seen in my photograph, then I don't use purple. I pick a color that should be in the photograph in that area. So you do have to pay attention to what you're doing, in my opinion. Now, will it still turn out? Yes. But I think you get better results if you pay attention to the colors that are in your photograph itself rather than, purple lips popping out. So without further ado, let's start and look at this. All right, so we're in my software. We're in P Design 11, and here's your home tab. You want to go to the image tab. Anything to do with a picture, I cannot speak today, is on an image tab. That you open images from here. You do not open stitch files from here. We choose photo. I'm going to go ahead and do photo stitch one color for you today, just so you can see what it looks like and what I would do. But just keep in mind that your sepia and grayscales will give you exceptional results right out of the gate. I'm actually going to pick a photo that I've taken with my iPhone, and we'll go from a graduation to try to give you an idea of something that would be realistic. This is my niece's graduation. And I have actually I've actually looked at this one to see what it would do. I wanted to crop in to see what's important. Well, what's important is her face and her parents' faces at this moment in time, correct? So I'm not worried about the buildings in the background or any of that other stuff. Now, one of the things that I do is I touch the image tune button, and I tend to sharpen up their photographs a little bit to give it more detail. So we're going to, I'm going to brighten it up a little bit. And this is your kind of warming of the color. So as you see how as I go down, it kind of darkens that color. If I take it up, it brightens that color and warms that photograph up. Depending on how much of a tan you want to get them, this kind of takes that grayscale out. Sometimes this is a new slider bar in version 11. We did not have that in any of the previous ones. In the previous softwares, I've taken my photograph into a photo editing software and I've warmed it up. This allows me to do that to some degree here. So I'm going to click OK. The next thing I'm going to tell you is the bigger the hoop, the better your results. So I'm going to go in and choose design settings, and we're going to choose the standard 8x14 here. That's it. I can use a jumbo hoop, but it's really not going to make a huge difference on the, oops, wrong one, on this particular design. Then I'm going to say fit it to my page. That's going to make it as big as it can be in that hoop size. If you only have a 5x7 hoop, you'll go with a 5x7 hoop, but you are going to get your better results from larger hoops. So I touched next, and then you choose your thread chart that you want to work with. With this one, I did have better results with the Brother Enhanced chart. And one of the things that I generally do is I increase my number of colors. I'm going to do a couple of, every time I make a change, I'm going to go ahead and hit update preview so you all can see what happens. So that adjusted it a bit, but here's your big ones. If you take your detail, which is your density, all the way up to fine, let's see what that one does. You're going to see some white spaces fill in. There you go. And then your run pitch, which is your length of stitch, down to 2.0 or as low as it can go if you're in inches. I do this process in metric, so that is up to you, as low as you can go. Look at the difference in that photograph. How much better that photograph turned out just by changing those things. Now, you can play with different thread palettes if you want. Let's say if we go to Floriani down here, see what happens. There you go. That's not bad. You can go to Pacesetter Pro, which is the Brother thread USA thread chart. You can brighten this up a little bit if you want to try that and see how that works. Ooh, I'm getting closer here. I'm liking that one. How about y'all? You can also touch the Select from Candidates button. Now, I'm not sure how this is going to work with me being on StreamYard. It may crash the program, but it gives you 9 different candidates. I have found that I don't use that just simply because the bigger the photo stitch you get, the less clarity you get on that update on the Select from Candidates. What Select from Candidates is doing is it's adjusting your brightness, your contrast. That's what it's doing. So this is your brightness and this is your contrast. So you can play with those yourself, and each time you make an adjustment, select Update Preview till you see what you like. I actually liked the one where I just changed the brightness 1 notch up and I was pretty good to go. So when you're done, you select Finished and your photo stitch will process. Big tip for you here. When you're working on photo stitch, do it in stitch preview mode and not in realistic mode. It takes forever for it to process in realistic mode. That is a big tip for you guys. In P Design, can I save in other formats and pull in other formats to convert? Yes. You export it as as any other format. So from the application button, you choose Export File, and then you would choose what format you want to go. So if I come over to my application button here and I choose Export, where did it go? Oh, down at the very bottom. So if I choose Export, you can then choose the format that you want to send it to. To bring in other designs, you go to your Import menu. You don't open, you import. So it's gathered a little bit of pink here, and in the face a little bit too much pink. So what I would probably do at this point is go to my Stitches tab and choose Divide by Color. Because my brother really looks like he has a sunburn going on. So does Fred. So let's see here. After I've done that, I would go pick that color. So that's this one right here. In my sewing order window, I would come and grab this color and click my Select Patterns icon. And then I would grab my Split Stitches tool. And that's where those colors are popping in that I don't really want them to be. So I would snip around those areas. And double click when you're done snipping. And then I would change that color to a more natural looking pink. So go into my color palette, maybe lighten that up a little bit. And then move it back into the order where it should be stitching. Oh, that's a little bit too pink. How about we try linen? And then let's layer it back in where it goes. So we'll play with it here in a minute, but I am going to put it back in the order where it would stitch. And that's going to mute it down a little bit for us. Okay, so we've got one more hot pink that's getting a little obnoxious there. So I would select that one as well. So click it, click your Select Patterns icon, your Split Stitches tool, and then grab around the face areas here. Double click. Let's take it and move it back where it goes in the sewing order, which would be right here. And then I would change its color. So I might try a more muted tan to see how we like that. And if we don't like this light pink that we popped in there, we can also go in and give them a little bit more of a... Do y'all mind if I change back to Brother Embroidery? There's too many threads here for me to play with. So let's try a linen there. I like my 60 colors of palette thread instead of the large palettes just because I find it easier to manipulate. and look to see what I like. Now, granted, I'm not going to get as many variations there, but it's not as hard for me to figure out what I like and what I don't like. So that's really how I play with it, just giving you all that heads up. And it's a little bright still, so I guess let's go let's go Brother Flesh Tones and see if we like one of those better. That's probably going to hit it right there. There you go. So now let's take that same photograph. I'm going to select everything here. And I do actually look at mine in Stitch Preview. If you want to look at it in Realistic Preview, you can. It's going to take it a little bit more time to process. It will take the jump stitches out. You won't see as many jump stitches there, or you won't see any. But it is not as realistic as when it stitches out because of the way the threads weave together. You can change your view, and let me show you how to do that in just a second here. I'd also take out his black lips. I actually go into my paint program and I paint their lips. I give them chiclet teeth. So there's things that you can do. So your thread width, if you change that down towards thin, that will give you a more realistic preview of what it's actually going to look like when it's stitched out. Okay. And let's let it make its change here, and then I'm going to show you a different photo in, actually, we may do the same one in black and white. All right, so you can see how that thins that out a bit, and it gives you a better preview. So let's delete this one, and let's go do that same photo in Photo Stitch 1 Grayscale. All of the settings that I just did will still remain, so my cropping is still there since I'm still in an open session. If I opened up a different image, it would change everything back to the defaults. With my grayscales and my sepias, I have learned to sharpen those images up. That gives you the detail. The brightness contrast should still be pretty good, but we may want to brighten it up a little bit. I'm thinking that we're good. We'll try it and see, and we can always come back. Let's touch next. That fit to page is still there. Let's touch next again. Yeah, Carolyn, we are not buried in snow, but we do have our ice. Looky there, guys. Not a whole lot of changes need to be done with that one. So my detail is still at fine. My run pitch is at coarse. I would be pretty happy with that one. I've got my number of colors set to 14. You can actually reduce that if you would like. One of the things that I'll tell you that you can do is you can throw in more numbers of colors. And then you can go in here and say, you know, I don't want you. So you can go in and remove those colors and see if you get better results. So once you've done that, you'll notice that those are no longer in your picture and you may have better results. I have had a tendency to, I'm going to go back to auto select. I have a tendency to add colors until I see that they need them, and until it no longer makes a difference, and go with that result. But that's up to you. I actually I make a thread palette that's just called Grayscale. I don't know if I've done it in here yet. So no, I have not done that in here yet, to where all it does is pull all of my grays that I can find. So once you're done, you hit finished and your photo stitch is going to be done. What it does, Diane, is it actually stitches all of one color first. It's very random and it moves all about. Let me come up to you all while we're waiting on this thing to do it, waiting on it to finish processing. So it weaves those colors in together. So it does all of it usually starts from light. So it'll do all of my white first and it'll randomly run everywhere. And then it will fold in the next color. There are a lot of jump stitches if you don't have a machine that trims jump stitches, there are a lot of jump stitches to trim. So that's something that you need to keep in mind if you're on a machine that does not trim your jump stitches. If you have walking stitches all over, Karen, you can go in and split at point, divide by color, and then split at point if you have some stitches that are randomly going across. So yeah, do the 10 needle. A lot of people, if they have a 10 needle, they will choose to. I use my jumbo frame. I am a jumbo frame girl when it comes to this. It does a beautiful job. And I mean, it is, you get the best photo stitch results possible with that jumbo frame. But very extremely realistic. I have done some wedding photos that are absolutely amazing. But I mean, it really depends on what you have available to you. I mean, not everybody has the same equipment, and I get that. So I try to give you the best results that you can give with the biggest hoop size that you have. Photo stitch is not something you're going to do in a 4x4 hoop. I mean, the bigger, the better. You will. I now, have I done them in an 8x8? Have I done them in a 5x7? Yes, I have. But you will notice the bigger I get, the better the results are. And that's just the nature of the beast. It just does a better job. I find, as I said, I like looking at mine in stitch view. I rarely look at them in realistic view, but that's all up to the user. The further you get from your machine, from your image, the better it's going to be. How many colors are involved in that grayscale example? Let's see here. I have no clue as to how many I put in here. I think I may have 12. I usually do anywhere from 12 to 14. 14 is usually what I max out at because I find that I don't get that much extra. I am not a 10 color girl. There are many that will only do 10 colors, and that's fine. There is no right or wrong. I usually have between 12 and 14, and on this one I have 12. Oh, my spring that I did yesterday? Sure, I can show you that one day. Y'all want to see the finished result from yesterday? This was what I ended up with in my finished one. Now, I wasn't paying attention, and I did get my fabric stuck up in here. And this is the pillow. So that's what we've got. Yeah, Lois, you do get tons of it really just layers things in. It is amazing how it layers stuff in. So that's really what I wanted to cover with you guys today, was to give you the information on photo stitch, just the basics. Okay. Key thing is you got to look at the photo and decide, is it going to work for me? Not every photo is created equal. If you have a blonde-haired child on a white background with a white hat on, good luck with that. So it is, you're not going to get it. So you got to look at the subject matter. Truly, you have to look at the subject matter to see if things are going to work. Just realize that a black dog on with a dark background, you're not going to be able to see the difference between the two. So you have to really think that through. Animals, one of the things that I will tell you is to sharpen that image up, because then you get the fur effect. You won't get that otherwise. So yeah, I'm sorry it's a short one today, but I did want to make sure that I came on and we went ahead and did this because I hated to go 2 weeks without coming and connecting with you guys. Is that a spring pillow class? I had not intended for it to be, but it certainly could be, because it's an easy one. I say that, but it certainly could be. That you've given me an idea. Maybe we make that our spring item, is that's a little pillow class, because it was a super simple one, guys. All right. There is not just a book for photo stitch. My photo stitch is included in my big book. So, but really, I have given you the basics here. That is the basic tutorial. And if you go back and watch this, you'll get the concept. It's really there. You are either going to love or you're going to hate photo stitch, one or the other. And photo stitch is available in Brother P Design, or P Design Plus, or P Design Plus 2. We've had photo stitch since, I think, version 4 is when we got it, either 4 or 5. I believe it was version 4. So, it's been in many, many versions, and each and every time they have enhanced it. There are some other enhancements in here. There's an enhanced cropping. I tend not to use that. You can either crop around your area if you want to, or if you want to, you can have the background in it. It depends on how much you want to stitch. One of the other things I'll tell you is what you stitch it on makes a huge difference. I tend to iron on a fusible, one going one direction, one going the opposing direction. An iron on fusible. You pick your fusible. I'm not going to tell you which. And then I have a stabilizer that is a very stiff paper type stabilizer that you wet. It has got an adhesive, a glue that's activated by water. So I wipe it, spray it with water, and then I wipe it with a sponge, and then I slap that little thing down on top of it. It does not move anywhere. I sew mine on a cotton. If I'm using a color one, usually I will do a white cotton. If I'm doing a grayscale, I usually use a white Kona cotton, a good thread count cotton. If I'm using sepia, then I'm using an off-white color. So really, it depends on what you're doing as to what you pick. I do not use it on a tearaway adhesive backing, because unless you did 2 layers of that in your hoop, because tearaway perforates too much and it starts to tear away. And so it buckles and it's just not pretty. If the most stable you can get that is the best you can do. The better you stabilize it, this one is not one you wear, okay? Because it's going to walk in front of you. And that's the last thing you ever want your embroidery to do, is be the first thing that somebody sees out in front of you. It is very stiff. It's framed artwork, or you could put it in a pillow. You could applique it into a pillow. It's not something. It's not a soft item. Okay. So you guys have a great rest of the day. And yes, June, it has changed a lot over the years. The last 2 versions have really made some huge advancements in photo stitch. Yes, Marge, that book is really big. You are correct. It has a lot of information in it that, and there's a picture for everything. So that's really the biggest thing I can tell you. So at 18 degrees here today, let's see, it may have changed. We were 12 this morning. It was so cold and the wind chill was under 0. And I still got my mile walk in the ice. So we're going to try to finish. We're going to try to get that done today as well. Maybe keep your fingers crossed that I don't bite the dust again. And Princess King, she's shaking here. We must have lost an icicle or something. You guys have a great rest of the day. We can't dig out of the snow. We're in ice. There's no digging out. I don't even know. I've got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I don't think I can get in my car. So, no, Patty, I'm in Tennessee. I'm in Nashville area, Murfreesboro. So you guys have a great rest of the day. Hopefully we all keep our power on. Hopefully you all do as well. I know there's winter storms all over, and we are getting another one tonight. So you guys have a great rest of the week. Enjoy yourselves, and go play with your software. Click some buttons, guys. Have fun. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.